just to linger in your light, colder than the flip side of my pillow.
It's like support. Hey, Terry.
He said, when's the last time we saw him?
Probably another wedding.
Oh, I know.
Last big wedding.
Some party.
Some big party. Yeah. Now, how are you doing? Yeah. Well, so do you. Line them up!
Forget the world and you won't let them see. But there's one thing left that the way has been played. Love has surely
Did everybody get a stone out by the front door before we came in?
No.
You gotta get a stone, make sure you get an actual ceremony, okay? It's got a little bit of sage advice or something for you on it. And I'm officiating my second wedding ever, and unfortunately mine says, do your best. It was on a random draw, so it just goes haywire. It's the rock's fault, all right? All right, dearly beloved, because that's how we start weddings. We are gathered here to join John and Jen in a most blessed, loving matrimony. This is only my second wedding, so it's not terribly traditional the way I do this. As a matter of fact, I really needed a lot of advice on how to do the first wedding and this wedding. So what I did was, and there'll be a point at which I'm going to need some help from the audience. I encourage you to please, you'll know when, don't leave me hanging. It's very important, okay? It's all being videotaped. So I asked for some help, and I was, first when you work on the invocation, and that's what this part is called, I Googled it. When I was working on the invocation, I thought you need a theme. Well, with John and Jen, there are a lot of opportunities for theme. They enjoy writing a Harley theme, and then we found out it would be a Deadhead weekend. We a Grateful Dead theme, but we didn't want too many people getting arrested before the ceremony, so what I did was we had a little sit-down party at my house last Friday, and I asked John and Jen to help me out with Yeah, well, I didn't specifically ask them to help me out, but what I did was I asked them some questions. I asked them, I'm going to tell you exactly what I asked them. I asked John and Jen to each share one story about the other and their interactions together, and 3 reasons they loved each other. I wanted 3 from each of them. I thought, there you go, I'll have my wedding. It was a total Mars Venus moment. What I got from John was 1 story and 3 reasons why he loved Jen.
Oh, no.
What I got from Jen was why we will be here for several hours. There will be for our CFG friends, there will be a bar break in the middle. Don't worry about it. There are a lot of interesting stories with John and Jen. If you spend any time with them, you know they're fun-loving people. And there are stories, some which we will share during the ceremony today, some we will share at the reception afterwards, and some only a few people get to be privy to. Some only John and Jen know, I'm sure. Some were shared in John's emails to me, and I was told specifically that they couldn't be in the ceremony. So there's that. A marriage is a lot about balance. And what you'll find from this ceremony, while it will seem out of balance, it will seem like it's mostly about Jen. That's because Jen wrote about 80% of the actual wedding today. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you know Jen, she's a talker, which is good. And John is a man of few words. That's actually, while it sounds unbalanced, and the ceremony will seem unbalanced, that's actually perfect balance. Because Jen will tell you stories, and John will just sit there quietly and enjoy Jen telling stories. There's balance in their relationship, just like there won't seem to be balance in the ceremony, but there really is, because of the love they have for each other. That's why it's yin and yang. It's Mars and Venus, but it turns out being perfect balance with the 2 of them. Sometimes the balance is exactly right. Like riding your Harley, you're on center, everything's perfect. But sometimes he's having a horrible day, she's having a great day, her mood can bring him up, and hopefully his doesn't drag her down. Or vice versa. It's all about balance in a marriage, and it's going to be about balance today as we do this. At this time, we want to ask a special friend of John and Jennifer to come up. Doug Anthony has some words for us.
Not that special. Special? On my mark. I had to make notes where I would just be like Jen and go on and on. So, Jen, John, thank you for letting us be part of your special day. What words of wisdom can we bestow upon you that the world hasn't already hit you over the head with? Here's one. Love. The reason we're all here now. Something happened in all of our lives that endeared you to us. This is why we are here. And there's really no explanation for that. It's like, stuff happens. So, and the word love is used in so many different degrees. You 2 love each other, and somewhere between Jen's love of shoes and fuzzy critter videos, she loves John, and somewhere between baseball, football, and fireball, John loves you. And this is what we're celebrating. And because I know Jen's paying attention, but she's worried about what she's going to wear later, and John just isn't paying attention, I'm going to read from one of my favorite authors. And his name is Paul, and he was kind of an advice columnist 2,000 years ago. You still can find this stuff. It's still a bestseller some places. So here we go. And I'm going to read the first line here. If I speak in the tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prolific powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and I have all faith as to remove mountains and have not love, I'm nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned and not have love, I gain nothing. You can see where I'm going here, right? This is like the pre-John and Jen era. And so here's the main point. And this applies to all of us, not just these 2. The question is, what is love?
Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way.
Do not forget these sentences ever. When there's no note in the lunchbox, don't forget this. When the ball goes into overtime, don't forget this. Paul also goes on to say, love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for languages, they will cease. As for knowledge, it passes away. And this is one of the truths of the world right here. So now, faith, hope, and love abide. These three are the great, and the greatest of these is love. So that's what I got. This is all I got. And our prayer for both of you is that this is all you will ever need to get through life. Somewhere in your journey to this day, you've touched all these people, and we're here to wish you the continuation of the joy of the day. May God bestow His blessings upon you, and may there only be enough clouds on your horizon for beautiful sunsets.
Actually, a bit of a roast into a homily. Very nice. You know, there's going to be a roast today and a wedding. Both of them are just like, uh-oh. All right, so this is actually the part of the wedding where somebody says, if anybody has any objections here. I Googled it. Let them speak now. And we're not going to do that. That only happens in 80s movies. So don't answer, Kevin. But I would ask the people who have been married for some amount of time, tell us how long they've been married, and just a little one or two lines of advice for John and Jen. Not that I think they need it, but it can never hurt, you know. So I know, and I know, speaking from my wife's point of view, there's a lot. What I will share that we have found is find somebody, and this is when you're setting the whole thing up, that matches your crazy. And that's why we work, is because it's the exact same amount of crazy. And I think you guys have nailed that. Smooth sailings from here. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to share with the bridegroom and not leave me hanging up here? Kathy, I know you have something. I've never been at a loss for words.
Well, me and Pete been together for 29 years, and all I can say is it's been very exciting. It's just love, like Doug said. It's all about love, togetherness, doing crazy things, doing wild things, doing different things.
Knowing you guys, I was always wondering that, and so now I know. That explains. Anybody else care to share anything in the back, please? Yes, stand up, stand up here. Stand up.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear. That's very good. However, and you know this is a mistake, never say those two words though. Say yes, dear without saying yes, dear. Say yes, dear, we totally need a new valance. Even if you don't know what a valance is. Never say yes, dear together. That's very good advice though, but figure out a way to agree with
It
that.
doesn't work.
And who cares what a valance is anyway? I don't know what a valance is, but we can replace that. Does anybody else have anything they want to share right now?
Yeah.
Here we go, here we go.
I love you. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again.
There you go. Happy coming, sir.
We had 50 years together. My advice is to keep your humor and keep respect. In that order.
Very good. And you know, these definitely there, and the respect is too, so that's good. You see, you're starting out great. Just trying to figure out what the balance is. We're all good. We're all good. All right, now, Jen has some special words she would like to say. She would like to say to Jen.
All right, John said he'd be a little too nervous to say anything, and I kind of am too, and I'm much more emotional than I thought I would be. So I wrote it down, and I wrote it really big, so I didn't have to put my reading glasses on.
Teacher.
And this actually, I didn't really write this. I added a couple things to it, but it was something I found, and it was so just unbelievably perfect, I had to read it. When you found me, I was dying. You gave me life. I was aimless. You gave me purpose. I was nobody. You made me somebody. I was weak. You gave me strength. I am me because of you. And I know I can only be whole when you're with me. We're two halves who fit together perfectly. I thank you for all you have given me and for who you have made me. I will never take the love you have given me for granted, and I will love you until it is time for us to leave this earth. I believe we were meant to find each other when we did, although I wish we were younger sometimes, so I could have more years actually living life with you. You're my soulmate, my best friend, and everything I am. It took me half of my life to experience what true love is. Thank you for finding me. I love you.
This is where we're doing the marrying now, so, all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Go time.
This with Jen helped me with this part indirectly. She didn't know she was writing her declaration of intent, but she was. John, do you promise to continue to make Jen laugh a lot? I mean, like all the time. More so than ever before in her life. Do you promise to always let her see her reflection in your amazing blue eyes? Do you promise to continue to mess with her all the time, to the point of making her freak out? Do you promise to always instinctively reach back to hold her hand every time you hit the ground walking? Without fail. Do you promise to not let a blizzard get in your way of being a peeping Tom and stealing a snow day kiss? There are a lot of good stories with these. I'm serious, I was reading it and I'm like, I am such a failure. Do you promise to always share your Scooby-Doo giggle? With her when things are silly. And do you promise to share your Chewbacca yawn when you're feeling tired? No?
No.
I bet he would. Do you promise to spend more entire days texting her line after line after line of a song, one line by one line, like say, Let My Love Open the Door by Pete Townsend, just because it's how you feel? Do you promise to continue to be an amazing father to all the boys and the man that Cleo simply adores? And even though... and even though you try to come off as a man's man, do you promise to continue to be a hopeless romantic who melts Jen's heart day after day after day? If so, signify it by saying I do.
I do.
Now, Jen. Do you, Jen, promise to share your wit that brings him so much joy? Do you, Jen, promise to share your beauty that takes his breath away? Do you, Jen, promise to always help him with his spleen? You really did put spling in the Do you promise to pay off your Is Ape a Go to Dead and How Many Wheels Are on an 18-Wheeler type bets all the way to the 11th hole and back, even if the sprinklers are on? There are more details to that story, which I will not be sharing. But in a couple hours, either one of them. And do you promise to always have spectacular shoes?
Yeah.
That wasn't it. spectacular to him, your shoes? If so, it was an anatomical. All right. You hired a wedding DJ, a DJ to do your wedding. If so, signify by saying I do. Don't, let's get those rings going.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. With this ring, I give you my promise that from this day forward, I will give you all my love, and you shall not walk alone. I have no greater gift to give. As your love is my anchor, and your trust is my strength, may my heart be your shelter, and my arms be your home. As this ring has no end or beginning, so shall my love be for you. As I place it on your finger, I give you all that I am, and all that I shall become. John, place it on your finger. Say with this ring I do that. Jen, on John's finger. This ring. All right. We're doing good. At this time, John's, I was talking about me. At this time, we're going to ask John's sister Jennifer to come up and share a reading.
Thank you for inviting me. It's called The Art of a Good Marriage. Happiness in marriage is not something that just happens. A good marriage must be created. In marriage, the little things are the big things. It is never being too old to hold hands. It's remembering to say I love you at least once a day. It's never going to sleep angry. It's at no time taking the other for granted. The courtship should not end with the honeymoon. It should continue through the years. It's having a mutual sense of values and common objectives. It is standing together facing the world. It is forming a circle of love that gathers the whole family. It is doing things for each other, not in the attitude of duty or sacrifice, but in the spirit of joy. It is speaking words of appreciation and demonstration, gratitude in thoughtful ways. It is not looking for perfection in each other. It is cultivating flexibility, patience, understanding, and a sense of humor. It is having the capacity to forgive and to forget. It is giving each other and an atmosphere in which each can grow old. It is a common search for the good and the beautiful. It is establishing a relationship with the independence, where the independence is equal. Marrying the right partner, it's being the right partner.
All right. After the ceremony, it's important I tell you, we're going through that door. You're all required to join us for the party afterwards. And I'm sure we'll be hatching a few new stories tonight, and maybe getting some details on some that we might not have heard just yet. So, right after the ceremony, the couple are going to be taking some pictures, but they will be joining you shortly. In the words of the immortal Jack Handy, love is not something that you can put chains on and throw into a lake. That's called Houdini. Love is liking somebody a really lot. We have some friends who couldn't be here and some family who couldn't be here. We want to take a moment to think about those friends and family who couldn't be here. John and Jen have a lot of friends here today who are from the CFG or the Cabin Fever Getaway. We wanted to make special note of a couple of friends from that who couldn't join us here, but we know they are here. Well, one of them is in here in spirit. The other one's probably out at the bar in spirit. So we're gonna do a Duke and Rogers salute. So CFGers, join me now in their memory. By the authority vested in me by the state of Wisconsin, the county of Walworth, and the Universal Church of Life, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you for the very first time the new Mr. and Mrs. John and Jennifer West.
One announcer's right now we're free out. The other ran upstairs and showed a picture.
Oh, me and Nikki, yeah. The hair and makeup people are here. What's the name of her business? Fringe Boutique in Grays Lake. We want to thank Don Wilson for being here today. Especially we want to thank Tom Keith. We know he hates this, but he did this for a favor, and we really appreciate it. His wife Kristen has been a big help. Thank you very much. We love you guys. Bob Manjo is here today. If you just wave your hand, I'll say your name. No, I want you to know that my parents are here today. It means a lot to me. So. Jerry and Jerry Wicks. So you can go over and tell them what a great guy I am. Jen's mom couldn't be here due to health reasons tonight. So, but Jen's brother Jimmy is here. So we'd like to have him come up, and Jim is going to do the toast. Jim Baggio.
Hi everybody, obviously I am the brother of the bride, and when my sister asked me to say something, a couple things immediately came to mind. Your hair is okay? Mine's not. First thing that came to mind is, it reminded me of an old tale. Back in rustic days, young man and woman, they fell in love, they got married, they hopped on their horse and buggy, and they were off to the home that the young man had built and the bride didn't know about. Along the way, they're traveling, it's a beautiful day. The young bride notices there's a couple rabbits, and they're doing what rabbits do in the springtime. And she was curious about this. So she asked her new husband what they were doing. And he said, they're nodding. Interesting. So they go down the road, and this keeps going on. And finally they come across a doe and a buck. And they're doing what Mother Nature tells them to do. And she says, what are they doing? He says, they're nodding. Okay. So they finally get to their new home, and the bride is thrilled. She had no idea that this young man had provided such a wonderful home that he built by hand. They got in the home, they did the tour, the excitement rose, the passion rose. And newlyweds started to do what newlyweds started to do. And in the heat of the moment, the young bride stopped her husband, pointed between his legs, and she said, what are those? He said, those are my knots. She says, you want to untie them? I could use some more rope.
Only a brother.
There's a lesson here. There's a lesson here. The lesson is that after you tie the knot, untie the knots.
They're in his purse.
All right, one more point, but on a more serious note. When Jen did ask me to say something, I immediately thought of a book that was called The Alchemist. I took a solo trip to Cancun, and I threw the book in my suitcase, but had no intention of reading it. Actually, my only goal was to test the limits of an all-inclusive, top-shelf liquor cabinet. And I was doing a pretty darn good job. By the first day, I was already known as Mr. Don Julio. By the next day that I went to the bar, everybody knew me by either the name Jim or Milwaukee. But I had no idea who the hell that was. I was having a good time. But they came up with a crafty plan. 4 days into the vacation, I could no longer leave the room. I needed to stay within close vicinity of the bathroom. So I broke out the book. In between mad panic dashes to the bathroom, I read the book. And the book reminded me of Jenn and John. Because it was the story of a young sheep herder. And he had a comfortable life. Not necessarily happy or content, but he was comfortable. He had everything he needed. Money, he had wine, he had a book to read. He knew where his money was coming from. But he had this something that was calling him on the inside. He wanted to see the Great Pyramids. But then he met a young girl that so took his heart that he knew he had to have her, but being a sheep herder wasn't going to do the trick. So he decided that somehow he needed to find his treasure to win the woman. And one day, an opportunity came along that challenged him, but gave him an opportunity to get what he wanted. But it required him to lay down everything that was comfortable and go take a giant leap of faith into the unknown. And he did. He left everything he knew that was comfortable and he took off into the unknown. And as life would have it, there were many ups and downs, trials and tribulations. He made a fortune, he lost it all. He got money back, he was robbed, he was beaten, he was stolen from. And there were times in his life that he just thought the whole thing was silly and why did he ever do this? Maybe he should just go back to being a sheep herder. But along the way he met people. He met people that also had a dream, but they gave up on it. And they were stuck. They stayed in one place. And it was through these people that encouraged him not to do as they had done, but to continue pushing forward. Long story short, he got his treasure, he got his woman, he's seen the pyramids. And I think to Jennifer and John, because ever since they've come together, they have had challenges that sometimes seem insurmountable. My sister has found an inner strength that she didn't even know she had. And Jennifer, I know your father can't be here, but I can tell you that he's proud of you. John, he would love you. And he's also amazed that you've turned into the person that you've become. Because through your trials and tribulations, a day like this has come about, in which friends old, mainly new, and a whole new beginning has come because you refused to stand still and give in. And there was something within the both of you, by both of you coming together, that caused you to keep moving forward. And here you are. So, in the words of my father, salute Cindande, which is basically Italian for drink.
Friends and family here for the occasion. I'd like to thank the Wicks family for bringing us in as their own and making us feel at home as family get-togethers and vacations. Johnny, I thank you for bringing out the best in my mom and being the foundation of our family, which can be dysfunctional at times. I also like to thank my mom for all the sacrifices she has made for me as a mother. She raised me into the man that I am today, and if it weren't for her guidance and wisdom, I don't know where I'd be today. I can't thank her enough for that.
Mom, tonight is your night. Shine like the star you are. Thanks for always being right by my side throughout the good and throughout the bad. Words cannot explain how much I love you. Poopy, honestly, I cannot thank you enough for everything that you have done and provided for my family and I. For being my #1 supporter, to making faces at me at the dinner table. I don't know where I'd be without you. Thank you for the permanent smile you left on my face. I love you even though you hog the TV whenever I watch it.
Get them when they're done. When they're done.
After all the countless hours that my mother has put into this night, I hope that everyone has a great time celebrating the marriage of two of the most important people in both of our lives on a night that I know I'll never forget. Thank you.
Please
together, let's hear it for the new Mr. and Mrs. Wicks. Couple places you should know, there's going to be food that's put out there along the back wall. The bar is right over.
Could you hold his hand? Perfect.
One big shark. Onward.
Can you hold it or put it in focus? Is it on autofocus? What? Is it on autofocus? Now it's the back of their heads.
Just like the moon, all of the walls are continuing to show. I don't know I can stand on the steps.
Thank you so much for helping me out.
You know, Jen, I understand there's some boys that are going to bring you out there on the dance floor. All right?
Got nothing to do with me.
What a smoothie! I can tell 3 times. smile today. The Wicks!
Oh, you make me smile.